Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, we're back on this cycle because Warner Brothers Games Montreal, the Gotham Knights Twitter, and even the game director have now started to inform us on a few things regarding Gotham Knights. So, this is something that I've been waiting for. And for those of you who have hung in there, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And the reason I didn't say anything on this channel for the longest time is because the developers didn't say anything, so I didn't feel it appropriate to, say anything much more other than what was officially revealed out there. There have been basically rumors and whispers and leaks that I've just basically ignored in a sense, but I know you guys have probably kept up with the news cycle. And again, those things really have a lot of intricacies with them, but I really want the focus to be on Gotham Knights and potentially Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. So for those of you who know, we hadn't received a lot of information since August of last year at the DC Fandom event, but now there's another DC Fandom event that's been confirmed for the next few days, and Gotham Knights has posted basically in the past 48 hours. We have seen some posts from their Twitter page. So activity is back up. I believe strongly that the way these things work is marketing is probably giving the green light for them to continue to pursue these aspects. So first of all, they posted this always watching, always listening, and then they hashtagged the DC Fandom the 31st of August. And then they went ahead just today, a few hours ago, to post something about Your Legacy Begins and the Gotham Knights, GIF. That's basically advertising and showing the Gotham Knights 5. Now, I said 5, right? Didn't I? I did. Now, if you look, you have Robin, you have Nightwing, Batgirl, you also have Deadpool, and did I say Deadpool? Just being silly, guys. I'm just messing around. You have Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and you also had the fifth one, Batman. And so that's what I call the Gotham 5, because I think what they probably did not necessarily envision was the shocker of a reveal that they did, where they basically said, Batman is telling them that if you're getting this video, I'm dead and all this stuff. I don't think they necessarily envisioned that a lot of people would, react the way that they did in a game like this. And the truth is, there is no Gotham Knights. There are no Gotham Knights, I guess I meant to say, or there is no Batman family without the Batman. It's just what it is. The way the canon was written around this particular character, Bruce Wayne, was that he would have these folk around him. Even when you look at the TV series, when you look at even Batman Beyond or the future Batman, you still see Bruce Wayne in the picture somewhere training another Batman. And so it doesn't really, in my opinion, feel organic, or it never did feel organic that Batman would be dead in a Gotham Knights game. Now, many of us didn't expect that. In fact, we said it will more than likely be something where he's revealed somehow, some way in the plot. Because again, it appears that he will probably be a major aspect of the plot, and the Gotham Knights will be looking for him. There's no way that you introduce a game saying, oh, if you're listening to this message, Batman is telling them and saying that he's dead, that they don't set out to at least try to figure out what happened to him. So these are some of the things that are really interesting in all of what is being revealed right now. So again, let's start to look at some things from the timeline and look at, some sort of semblance of where we're going. So you've seen this huge silence from this particular development team regarding this game and regarding the IP that they're working on. You also got a lot of silence from the Rocksteady team. A lot of the talk around has been they probably have taken the game and done a little remake of it, or kind of maybe gotten it to be a little bit more dark and grimy like the Arkham games. Now, that could be a possibility, but I think that's more of an aesthetic or an art thing. But to be very honest, I don't think that's necessarily all that there is to their silence for the longest time. I think potentially they may have been changing the systems on how they wanted to apply the RPG nature of the game. I think that would have been a big issue for them to have delayed the game one whole year. Another thing, too, would also perhaps be that they wanted to, kind of, in a sense, develop the game even much more in terms of, I would say, longevity, in terms of stories or missions. So those are two potential possibilities that could have allowed for them to delay the game this long in terms of why they actually moved its release out there. Another thing too could be they probably already had the core of the game when they actually announced it. They probably just had the skeleton, and everything else that was left was just to flesh it out. So when you have a strong skeleton and you're prototyping and you're no longer on a prototype and you have a very solid framework, I think that's usually when a lot of video game companies do some teasing of some kind, because they know that they could just build around it. So I think this was the case with the Gotham Knights game. Being a game being developed on Unreal Engine and being somebody who's really somewhat acquainted anyways on a novice or almost intermediate level with the engine, I can tell you for certain that, once you get a good solid framework in Unreal Engine, you really can start to talk about a game that you're working on. It's actually one of those kinds of engines that requires a lot of groundwork. And so once you got your groundwork done and you even have something like this that's shown on the screen, which actually was a gameplay trailer, I strongly believe that they'd actually fleshed out, or I would say they'd actually carefully constructed and solidified what they felt was going to be foundational to the game. So this next few months, I would say, regardless of however many months the game's going to be coming out, maybe we'll get a release date at a fandom event. I think all that's just going to be fleshing out, fine-tuning, doing some more QA testing to see how the game resonates with testers, or maybe doing closed focus sessions, which is another thing that big AAA companies do. They'll get a focus group in a room, they'll put cameras on their faces, they'll have them play the game, and then they'll watch their reactions in different places and go back and analyze it. Like, if you were to say perhaps, this particular fight sequence, they must have focus tested this before they actually brought this out. That's for certain in my mind anyways. I don't think they just kind of did this in their own studio without getting any external inputs before they kind of dropped the this trailer. That's one possible scenario. I should say I'm 90% certain that that's what happened. It could be also that they needed a trailer to get to the fandom event, and so they made this in seclusion and isolation. So that's another possibility as well. But I think it's quite exciting. I'll be covering more and more of the developments as well. Now, just a sidebar, somebody here in the audience had told me to look at the fan-made Batman game that was actually canceled and taken down. And I did look into it, and to be very honest, I think that's something that was legally expected to happen. Warner Brothers does not mess around with a lot of their IPs, just like Disney and some other big companies. So the takedown of that was inevitable. I feel like that should have been done differently in the way that it was presented anyways. But again, it's just one of those things where right now, it's just what it was. But again, for people saying that Batman game could have been something really huge, I don't think they understand the scope of what it takes to make a game of that magnitude. Now, I'm not saying that the solo dev that did all that work, should not be praised or should not be at least commended. I'm saying that, it just was a very short, fan-made game that was actually quite good in its presentation, but it wasn't unexpected that, Warner Brothers and DC was going to be taking that down. I mean, that's Batman. That's the golden goose of the entire DC franchise, if you were to ask me. So that was not unexpected. But again, I'll talk to you guys in another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to keep this as short as I possibly could. Talk to me in the comment section. What do you think about now that Batman is now officially revealed to be in the game, be it in a shadowy kind of a, fatherly nature in a sense in the background, but still it's kind of the Batman that we expected to be in a game like this, bringing the Dark Knights the Gotham Knights to the forefront while the Dark Knight himself is in the background and in the shadows, potentially guiding them in some sense. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Peace out.